Reptilian control of Earth, missing civilizations, and spider beings the size of Volkswagens. This is part 3. We continue the Reptilian control of Earth series, focusing on tangential information, missing civilizations, and it's one of the darker aspects of our reality. Missing civilizations and Vietnam. The Vietnam War was not what we thought it was, according to Navy Captain Mark Richards, who was mentioned in the William Tompkins interview as being a part of the secret space program, explains the real reason we went to Vietnam. Angkor Wat had been the largest pre-industrial city in the world, with temples numbering in the thousands and an elaborate infrastructure system connecting at least 1,000 square kilometers and may have supported up to 1 million people, all of which disappeared overnight. And here we have a few images of that complex. So why am I telling you this? Because during the Vietnam War, Angkor Wat literally became hell on earth, according to Captain Richards, and supported by countless eyewitness testimony from Vietnam veterans. The following occurred. We were there to fight what was in essence an invasion by an ET race of super beings the size of Volkswagens, known as the Spider Trogs or the Akari, who came into our reality through a vast network of portals or gateways in Southeast Asia. These beings began to use mind control in the human population of Angkor Wat, convincing them that they were out of water, even though they lived next to the river that flows through the area. Once they were weakened by the mind control and dehydration, they then came in and disseminated the area with microwave weapons. When the population was sufficiently immobilized, they moved in, began feeding, and the remainder of the humans were then taken back through the portals. The entire process took only 2.5 days. Interesting to note, many UFO abductees report seeing giant spider beings. In fact, you are afraid of spiders is one of the top questions asked by UFO researchers on their questionnaire to determine abduction. One such encounter with these beings goes as follows. After dropping off to sleep, a person wakes up to see a series of huge black spiders beings in their bedroom. As soon as these beings realize they're being observed, they walk through the wall and are gone. Many experience nightly visits from these beings, mostly while still in a drowsy state, that just before sleep. They report feeling their presence, wanting to run away, but being unable to because their body is paralyzed. I guess it's sleep paralysis. Now back to Captain Richards. During World War II, these beings returned to Vietnam through the same portal systems, while most of the world's governments were focused on conflicts in Europe. This is what the war was all about, and that we were successful at that time in repelling them. Now, unfortunately, the article says this form of life is still attempting to come through other portals around the planet through information on what locations these are, though information on where these locations are have not been released. And along with the reptilians, it's one of 4 negative-oriented species that we are in conflict with at this time. Captain Richards stated that Vietnam soldiers had their minds wiped. They are dealing with PTSD, but also repressed memories of phenomena apart from their comprehension of reality. One recent Vietnam veteran shared his memory of a battle between U.S. and other forces that took place one night when he was on watch. The conflict was intense and lasted all night, and he was able to watch it from an adjacent hill where he was stationed, he says. The next day, his platoon went into the area where the battle had been the night before and found the site had been quote-unquote cleaned up, which is impossible considering the time between when the conflict ended and the arrival of him and his men. More disturbing was a 12-foot-high pyramid of Vietnam bodies, some of their mouths sliced open and foot or leg jammed in, eventually underwent regression therapy, found that he had remembered what had not actually happened. Under hypnosis, he was able to see not Vietnam bodies, but what he described as giant bug shells with some legs sticking out. So these are the giant bug extraterrestrials. Remarkably, he was still in touch with other members of his platoon and tried to compare stories. He asked one of them if they remembered walking past the pyramid of bodies, was told, "No, I don't remember any pyramid, but I do remember a huge crater in the ground with mutilated bodies." So it seems there were screened memories implanted into soldiers' minds that were dependent upon what the observer would accept. Now, taking all of this into consideration, we may find answers to what befell the Maya, the Indus Valley Civilization, the Khmer Empire, the Anasazi, the Olmec Civilization, the Ascumite Empire, the Mycenaean Civilization, the Mok Civilization, the Minoans, the Kututeni, the Tripilians, the Nabateans, the residents of Easter Island, Katahoyak, Kahoya, Gobekli Tepe, Aniya, Nabata, Playa, the Turquoise Mountain Civilization, and too many others to name that had disappeared. I remember now it comes into mind an Alaskan village that all the residents disappeared overnight. Nobody knows where they went to. Now, it may also shed light on why our military, according to the nation, is waging a secret war on 134 countries around the world. The nation America's secret war in 134 countries. U.S. Special Operation Forces presence now in nearly 70% of the world's nations, from Latin America to the backlands of Afghanistan to training missions in Africa allies. Last year, Special Operations Command Chief Dr. Admiral William McRaven explained his vision for Special Ops globalization. In a statement to the House Armed Services, he said, the committee said, USSOCOM is an enhanced and global network of SOF to support our interagency international partners in order to gain expanded situational awareness of emerging threats and opportunities. The network enables small, persistent presence in critical locations and facilities engaged where necessary or appropriate. While that presence, quote unquote, may be small, the reach and influence of those special forces are another matter. The 12% jump in national deployments during McRaven's tenure reflects his desire to put boots on the ground about everywhere on Earth. SOCOM will not name the nations involved, citing host nations' sensitivities and the safety of American personnel, but the deployments we do know about shed at least some light on the full range of missions being carried out by America's secret military. A part of the obvious real conflicts special ops are engaged in are also heavily focused on securing rare earth minerals, which are being used to gain allies in the form of galactic trade establishment in the fight against the black hat extraterrestrials, interdimensional beings. Rare earth deposits also play an essential role in our national defense. The military uses night vision goggles, precision-guided weapons, communications equipment, GPS equipment, batteries, and other defense electronics, and these give the United States military enormous advantage. Rare earth metals are key ingredients for making the very hard alloys used in armored vehicles and projectiles. So now I ask you, you can look at the rare earth deposit map at the Globalization Special Operations and compare it to yourself, and what do you see? This is on Bended Reality. I'll leave a link below for you for this. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.